everyone, health is well. Welcome back to Your Homeopathy. We have Narinder with us again. Hi Narinder.
Hi, thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Tell me what's on your mind. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so it seems like this time I'm going to be asking you the questions.
Okay.
Some pretty generic topics. I know there's a lot of misinformation or wealth of information out there. So, want to get your perspective on, some things that kind of regularly pop up in
Okay.
our life or things that we think about. Um, so yeah.
Okay, tell me. Ask away, and I'll be more than happy to share whatever I know.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing I had a question around was general nutrition, right? And your way of eating. I know we chatted about it a little bit before. There's so much information, right? Have enough protein, you know, fast, don't fast, eat after this time. I think I saw somewhere like make sure you eat something savory after a workout, and then you see a video and it says, well, make sure you have a protein smoothie. So I think so many of us, there's so much information out there, and every day, even myself, wondering what should I be doing and how I don't want to. I enjoy food. I love eating. Uh, how should I kind of think about in general, making sure that I have, the food that I want to eat and that I love. But I'm being, mindful about it. I'm being consciously, making the right decisions. Yeah.
So I am super passionate about food. I love food. I feel like in today's times, it's very important to have a very healthy, positive relationship with food and not a negative one. That being said, you're absolutely right. There is a ton of information out there. It's very difficult to know what's right and what's wrong. There's so much product, there's so much choice.
Yeah.
That it can be mind boggling to know which oil to use to start with. Yeah, it seems to be a very common question that everyone asks me. And there are many good oils out there, many healthy oils out there. But the one I am most passionate about and I definitely recommend is extra virgin olive oil. EVOO is the best oil. And there's a lot of myths about it. There's a lot of uh, facts about it, like that you can't do high heat cooking, which is also true. It's not that that isn't true, but you have to keep things in perspective.
Right.
How much high heat cooking are you actually doing? So
Yeah.
am I recommending olive oil for frying? If you're making pakoras or samosas, no, please don't use
Yeah.
olive oil. It's not
Yeah.
going to do you any good. But on a daily basis, if you are using a little bit of oil, then it should be olive oil. It is definitely far healthier for your heart as well as for your circulation than some of the other oils like coconut oil. It is full of saturated fat. It does have high heat cooking content, which is why a lot of South Indian cooking requires it, but it is not something I recommend on a daily basis. Again, there's avocado oil, also a high heat monosaturated fat. Now, this will break down much more slowly in your body, which is why, again, if you are leading a not very high energy and more sedentary lifestyle, which we normally do these days, you're going to work, you're coming back, you're sitting in a car, then you're not really, plowing fields.
Yeah.
You're not going to burn as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that keeping that in mind, I would definitely recommend olive oil. Also, there's a lot of talk about what salts to use. I would highly recommend iodized salt. The government's mandated iodine in the salt for a reason. It helps your immune system.
Yeah.
It is not, iodine is not produced in our bodies. It needs to be eaten. It needs to be intake. And as vegetarians, very little options are there. Iodine is mainly part of seaweed. And depending on your diet, if you eat a lot of seaweed, great. Otherwise, you're not going to get much of it.
Yeah.
So taking iodized salt would be highly recommended.
So back to kind of the avocado oil and some of the other oils. What should I use to fry my pakoras?
So if you are
Which
definitely,
I do like once a year, but what should I be using?
you can, avocado oil would be
Okay.
the one that I would recommend
Okay.
for deep frying. So if you're deep frying chicken or deep frying pakoras or deep frying samosas, then use the avocado oil. Canola oil is also usable.
Mhm.
What I would say is whenever you are deep frying, please fry away, let it sit, and then drain it off. So use, paper napkin or something to drain off as much excess oil as you can. It
Yeah.
will keep the food a lot crisper as well.
Okay. And recently, there's been a lot of controversy around grapeseed oil and seed oils in general. And, I think now I will say when I'm buying snacks or things, I will think about, oh, what oils are in there. What are your thoughts around, grapeseed oil and or any other oils and making sure that we're making the right decisions when we are, um, shopping for our families or for ourselves?
So my take on oils is less is more. Use less oils. You have the air fryers today, you have ovens, you have so many baking options that baking is definitely a better value than adding saturated content. However, if you are going to be deep frying once in a while, definitely avocado or coconut oil is healthier than any other oil out there. But for normal cooking, try to use minimal oil. When you do, use olive oil.
Yeah.
And grapeseed oil has a very high smoke point. So the seed oils are not something, sesame oil, these are grapeseed oil. These are very high heat oils, which means that they will not smoke easily, but it also means that they don't break down in your body as quickly.
Okay. So, like, but I guess my question was more, if I'm buying chips or a snack, do I need to be conscious of the oils that are in the ingredients?
So
Like, my sister will send me a message and say, this oil is bad for you, and make sure,
you stay away from it.
but in like, the kind of chips you buy or the kind of snacks you buy for the kids.
So let's put things in perspective. If it's for the kids and the kids are a healthy weight for their age, then no, it doesn't matter. Their metabolisms are so quick, they
Yeah.
are able to digest everything. But if you're talking about adults, then don't eat the chips.
Just remove the chips.
Chips.
Go have some carrots,
Exactly.
because your body's metabolism slowed down
It
anyway.
has
So
slowed
don't be
down.
eating the chips. Yeah.
But for the kids, honestly, if the kids are a healthy weight, then the oils will not make that big of a difference. They're going to be able to digest no matter what it is.
Yeah, yeah. And the really good, I have to say, the extra virgin olive oil, like the smell of it, there's nothing like it.
It's
My
tasty.
sister's got me addicted to this extra virgin olive oil. I think it comes from Greece or somewhere, but when you open the bottle, it just smells so good. So on a toast or something, I just did this morning. I made avocado toast for my daughter. Okay, so along sort of those lines of being conscious of the choices we make, how we take care of our families and ourselves. One of the things that we talked about, I think in our few conversations ago when I came to see you was, in general, what are the things I should be thinking about adding to my cooking? To make, and I know we're going to do a segment on actual cooking, which I'm super excited about. Because I know you love to cook. I also love to cook, and trying new things and new ways. So I'm really excited. But tell me about the punchang paste. One, I think as I look at the ingredients, I mean, I can think of my grandmother saying like, use their turmeric, use these things, and it's nothing new, but it's just sometimes raising the awareness again and again and again.
Right.
And we definitely have the turmeric lattes, but
Yes.
so what do we do like in terms of like how should we think of the punchang paste? What are its benefits, and how should we use it for cooking?
So this is something that I have come up with, and it's not something like you said that's new. Ginger, garlic, chilies, onions, and turmeric has been used in our cuisine from time when time began.
Yeah.
However, I have come up with recipe for it that is giving us the best benefit of these five ingredients. These five ingredients are superfoods. These are the antibiotic which are provided to us by nature.
Yeah.
So if we are not going to take advantage of the natural anti-inflammatories and antibiotics, and we're going to depend on the pharma for that, that's on us.
Yeah.
So the panchang paste is my creation. I call it the panchang paste because of the five ingredients. The five ingredients are ginger, garlic, chilies, onions, and turmeric. And I highly recommend fresh ones. Now, the garlic you can buy like the pre-peeled cloves. They do get those these days, and those are easy to use. But the way to prepare it would be to crush the ginger. Do not skin the ginger. The skin of the ginger is full of antioxidants.
So
do
use the
not
skin as well.
use the skin.
Okay.
Don't peel it off, which
Okay.
most people do.
Yeah.
Get and you don't have to get organic ginger. But do get proper ginger, as in it should be grown in a hygienic way. So get the ginger. Do not peel it off. Use the ginger, soak it, clean it. And then it should be the ratio of the ginger to garlic, onion, and chili has to be the ginger ratio has to be double of everything. So it's the ginger that should be the maximum ratio, not the onions.
Okay.
Because the ginger has the fiber, it has the antibiotic and the anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
Plus, it is really, really good for your digestion. The fiber will go in and it cleans up your gut completely. So it has many, many properties. The garlic is really good for your heart health. So between the ginger and the garlic, we have that covered. The turmeric, of course, everybody knows of its anti-inflammatory properties. That's why grandmothers used to make us drink the haldi milk. Yes.
I won't drink it, but
I hated it.
yes.
But this paste needs to be made, and it needs to be like you can just make it, grind it up completely, and then box it up in your freezer because it will go bad if you keep it outside. Make it in bulk, box it up, 2 by 2 cubes in a little Tupperware, and then you can pop it and add it to anything you're making, any vegetable, curry, whatever you're.
For the turmeric, should it be like turmeric powder, or are you saying fresh turmeric?
I'm saying yes. I'm saying fresh turmeric, fresh green chilies, fresh ginger, because these things, the fresh turmeric is a root. And it is a super powerful root. You don't need too much of it. Like one of those roots is more than enough at a time.
Yeah.
So,
and it takes a little time to get used to, because I think the turmeric root has a little different flavor than
it will make the food super yellow, definitely, and it does have a slightly more pungent flavor because it's fresh. But if you paste it up, you can't taste anything individually, really. And once you cook it down, then you really can't taste
So I made it right after our
okay.
conversation, and I used it to make pav bhaji.
Okay.
But I think I put a little too much of the turmeric root.
Okay.
And when my husband ate it, he was like, "There's something off with the." But I was like, "I love it. It tastes so good." So I think getting the right sort of ratio is important, because I think I may have put too much.
Right. Yeah. So I definitely recommend a lot of ginger. Yeah. The onion, chilies, and turmeric, you can really adjust it. Yeah. Ginger, the garlic should be half of the ginger, so you get enough of both the properties. But if you're not a big fan of chilies, then reduce the chili portion of it. Okay. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like the onion flavor so much, adjust the onion, chili, and the turmeric is super powerful. So like I said, if you are doing, supposing like a pound of ginger, only one root of turmeric should be enough. Should be adequate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I put way too much.
Okay.
And should you peel the turmeric?
No peeling the turmeric.
Okay.
You can peel the onions, only the top layer is recommended, and peel the garlic if you must. And you can pre-peel garlic. It's a lot easier to use, but don't peel the turmeric and the ginger.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, definitely beats buying the turmeric supplements, right?
Yes. Yes.
That are sold like everywhere. Like, why not have it? And it requires work, but like you said, if you prep and you keep it in the fridge or freezer, it'll last you for a while.
So I make it every 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Then I'll make like 16 boxes of it, and I'll put it away in the freezer, so I don't have to make it for the next 2 months. Yeah. So it takes like roughly an hour or so to do the prep, but it's so quick after that. You can make anything with it.
So how are you using it? Are you kind of like throwing it into whatever you're making, or are you kind of in Punjabi cooking, we call it tadka, like, with the oil and all that first.
Right.
Yeah.
So my way of cooking normally is oil-free, stress-free, mess-free cooking, and
Yeah.
that's what we'll be doing next time.
Okay.
But what I like to do is add it to whatever curry I'm making
Okay.
ahead of time, so it
Okay.
has enough time to cook down,
Okay.
and then you can't really taste each ingredient separately.
Yeah.
But it still has the properties that we are trying to take advantage of.
Okay. Yeah, no, very, very interesting. I definitely grew up with a lot of it. I know for when I've had a cold or something, I've definitely had, I think my mom makes like a ginger curry or something, or ginger tea. So this stuff works, but not just right, like having it one time. It's consistency as well, right?
It has to be imbibed in a very consistent, very everyday manner for
Yeah.
it to really give you the results that
Yeah.
you are looking for.
Yeah.
And as far as eating is concerned, you're saying to be mindful. I think what everybody needs to be mindful of is eating dinner. That's the
It's
big
like my favorite meal.
yes. um, but as there is a saying, breakfast is your most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
And that is quite true. Either eat a big breakfast or eat a big lunch.
Yeah.
Don't eat a heavy dinner. The dinner should be the smallest meal of your day, only because at the end of it, you're doing nothing else.
Yeah.
You're going to watch TV or go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the body's not going to have a chance to burn off that food.
Yeah.
And food for us is fuel. So we need to be using it.
Yeah.
So my advice, eat a big lunch and keep the dinner as small as possible. Have a smoothie, have fruits, a salad, swap it out. What most people normally do is, okay, tell me, what do you do? Do you eat salad for lunch?
Yeah. Like normally every day, I
Right.
have salad because it's the easiest thing to grab.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have a heavier dinner.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's also, I'm making food for the kids and then I kind of end up eating the same, and I don't really watch, the carbs for them. I mean, they're like super like active and thin and growing. But yeah, so I end up eating that, right? And then it is, as a vegetarian, it ends up being a lot of carbs. Like it's roti, it's pasta, it's dal,
Right. Right.
It's definitely on my list for 2025 to take your advice for the dinner, but yeah, so it's generally that type of food.
Yeah. So I say that if you can eat a heavier lunch and do the salad at dinner time, it will make your life easier because you won't have to prep so much.
Yeah.
And if you can cook ahead of time, then you can take that to go if you're going to work,
Yeah.
or have that as your main meal. So do a big brunch or a big lunch,
Yeah.
and keep the dinner.
So switch around your meals, right? I
Right.
think earlier when we were having a conversation, you said, one of the things was, I don't know who made these rules, that you can have biryani for dinner and not breakfast, which me personally, I could eat rice anytime. But, I think there's something to that, kind of play around with the heavier foods earlier in the day.
Because the logic is that food is fuel. So if you're going to eat more, you're going to have more energy for your day,
Right.
for your working day. And that's when you're really using it. In the evening, you're just kind of settling down and you're slowing down your pace. So you're not going to need the fuel.
Yeah.
Your evening time should be as light as possible, because when you sleep, the body is doing its repair work.
Yeah.
If your stomach is full, it's going to be busy digesting the food. It's not going to be able to do the repair work that it needs to do.
Yeah.
On a lighter stomach, it has more of a chance to repair you. You'll sleep better, and then you wake up hungry.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I've had a big meal, I definitely have trouble kind of going to sleep because you don't have enough time
To process
to process the food. I also think that with kind of thinking about your meals that way, you have a more positive relationship with your food. These days, and myself included, right? I try to be pretty regular about working out in the morning, so I'm very conscious of my breakfast. You have smoothie. Lunch is good because it's easy. You get a salad, and then dinner is like, there's the dinner cards. Like, don't do it. But you end up doing it, and I kind of don't like thinking about food so much, right? Like, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, but what you're saying is eat everything.
Eat everything. Right. There's no need to deprive yourself,
Right.
because then your brain's going to be like, oh no, I can't eat this, and then you crave it even more.
Yeah.
So no, by all means, if you like sweets, eat it in the morning. Have a brownie, start your day. That's me. I have a brownie every single day. No joke about it.
Yeah.
My daughter bakes the most amazing Ghirardelli brownies.
Oh.
And that's my
Who can say no
breakfast.
to that?
I can't. I can't say no to that. But then
Yeah.
I'm very conscious about the fact that I'm going to get my brownie in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat it at night. I'm
Yeah.
going to eat it
Yeah.
in the morning.
So balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nighttime is a good time for your smoothies.
Yeah.
It's a good time for your salad. It's a good time for your fruits.
Yeah.
Anything light
Yeah.
and fresh.
Yeah. 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 And I remember one time you told me about, you said, oh, around 3 o'clock, if you feel that, you need a little bit of energy, have a little brownie. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can eat a brownie. I'm like, what do
Definitely.
you mean? I don't have to remove that,
You don't have to
from my
remove
diet.
it because if you're going to have a big cup of tea,
Yeah.
that tea is going to fill you up. We literally only taste the first bite and the last bite that we take.
Yeah.
So that's one cheat I have. I'm going to have a whole cup of
Yeah.
tea and I'm going to take my brownie in the beginning and then
Yeah.
at the end of the tea cup.
Yeah.
But the tummy feels a lot fuller at that point and your mouth is happy because you feel like you can taste the brownie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. I love kind of thinking about food in a very different way where you are content with what you're eating and you're not like, I'm gonna have soup every day and and I think that's very hard to sustain as well, right? You get tired and then you end up binge eating and so definitely one of my goals, in 2025 to kind of change. Maybe I'll have the biryani in the morning next time instead of the eggs in the morning, and which breakfast sometimes tends to be light, but have the heavier breakfast.
Have heavy
Switch your
breakfast.
lunch around.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's to 2025.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
And I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank the viewers. Please stay well naturally. Like, share, and subscribe, and keep watching Your Homeopathy.
Thank you.